Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Global Speedrun Association. We got some any percent Super Mario Odyssey coming your way. This is a losers round 2 match between TiloTech and Zinpars. Now, both of these guys live in Europe and were able to arrange a time when they could race against each other. So what we're bringing you here today at this moment is a live reveal. Nobody has seen this yet, including myself and my co-commentator. I am with Troy of Athens today. Troy, how's it going?
It's going good. Yeah, so that is right. This has not been shown to anybody, including including not the runners, obviously, including
Not even the runners
as
have
well.
seen this themselves. It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, not including the commentators as well. We have not seen this yet. So what you're about to see, we are seeing for the first time as well. So we will be walking you guys through, giving you guys some commentary, providing it as if it was a live experience. Just know that these results have already happened. But that being said, they are off. And I don't know. This, to me, could be a really close match. I know that TiloTech has been grinding away at any percent lately. Did nab himself a high 103 PB recently. Zinpars, more of a kind of creative, crafty player, bingo master, Joy-Con extraordinaire. Definitely is a clutch player when it comes down to it. So this could go either way. What do you think, Troy?
It definitely could go either way, and it's definitely a heartbreaking thing to see this because I have quite an affection for both of these players, both being triple bingo players. I enjoy seeing these guys play, and so to know that one of these players is out of the tournament is heartbreaking.
Yes, indeed. This being the losers bracket, meaning one of these guys has to go home, and best man wins, I suppose.
Right, and I also did just check because I was making sure of things, and I wasn't gonna say anything if it was the case. But this is apparently, if you go to the bracket on GSA, the results aren't there either. So if you were trying to spoil yourself, you can't do it.
Yeah, you can't outsmart the system, guys. We have this on lockdown. Nothing you can do will reveal the results, except for stay tuned, I suppose.
Exactly. Find out in real time? Question mark?
Yeah, as real as we can make it seem, anyway.
Okay, TiloTech first one to get to the boss fight of Topper. Zinpar's getting their second, but already doing a better first and second phase here, so able to catch up quite significantly.
He did come in with that fast Topper strat, but also chose to go right side, so putting himself at a little bit of a disadvantage. Now, something to be noted here, TiloTech playing on 1.0, Zinpars playing on 1.1, meaning that they will be able to execute both of the Sphinx clip and the turnip clip. Now, Zinpars is a gentleman. I know this from experience. He does allow most runners to kind of execute things on their respective versions and kind of just lets that be. So we'll have to see if Zinpars has allowed 1.0 tricks. I know that the rules are rather fixed, but again, Zinpars, being the gentleman that he is, may have allowed this first moon skip anyway. Doesn't look like it though. TiloTech going for the chain chomp instead. So you will see FMS, or not FMS, sorry, you will see Sphinx clip, and you probably will see turnip clip from these guys as well. But FMS not able for Zinpars, so they are both opting to skip.
And TiloTech still, as I said, maintaining that lead. Nothing really happened. Nothing really has happened to close the gap even further yet. Like I said, that was just that quick Topper fight. Oh! A bit of a roll off of the bridge. There we go. There's something to tighten that gap a bit more.
Getting a little spaghetti in there. You can tell, obviously, TiloTech not very familiar with the movement associated with skipping first moon skip.
Yeah,
first
that was
moon
like
skip, if you will.
Yeah, that was like a weird value dive roll, though. It was like a value dive, but it was a roll.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what went down there. Some interesting movement choices from TiloTech, but result of that being Zinpars right on his tail now.
Yeah, that was pretty much a synced first hit on Mad and Brutal. Yeah, they every hit for hit right now on this boss fight as they are collecting coins with the spin throws. And I imagine that is because they need some coins because they aren't going to be doing Sphinx clips. And yes, look at this synced cutscenes. It's crazy stuff.
Zinpars getting himself a cleaner, brutal fight by the looks of it. TiloTech has a very interesting approach to this fight that I haven't seen anybody else do. Usually what you do is you throw your cap out to the side and then backflip and return your cap at the right time, but TiloTech kind of does that strangely in reverse. He does the backflip and then throws Cappy out at the right time, and somehow works for him. But as we can see here, kind of an interesting comparison. I think it might actually be slower somehow. Zinpars catching up, and with those digital loads, in fact, pulling ahead a little bit.
Yeah, it's the little advantages. Okay, both opting to go for the one above, the one at the top of the hill, whatever this is called. Timpani in chat will probably tell it for me. Instead of the chessman.
Yeah, above a high cliff, I believe it's called.
Right, that. I swear I know moon names. No, I don't. I'm blatantly lying too.
Talkatoo knowledge coming in handy for me right there.
I will join one of those weekends as soon as I have capture cards.
It's actually a lot of fun. If you guys don't know what Talkatoo% is, a little bit of a meme category. A lot of community runners kind of get together and do this kind of race thing where Talkatoo% is any percent except all of the moons that are not story moons that you have to get along the way must be given to you by a little bird named Talkatoo who lives in the kingdom. And you obviously have to play in English, unless you speak Japanese, then I would hope that you choose your preferred languages, but you obviously need to be able to read the moon names that he gives you, and it's kind of fun because he can only give you 3 at a time, and you have to route around those 3 and just kind of keep coming back to him and like routing on the fly. It's kind of like bingo. It's a randomizer in a way that makes the game a little bit more interesting to run. The runs end up being about double of a typical any percent, somewhere in the ballpark of 2 hours.
Back to the run. We got Zinpars pulling ahead yet again, thanks to those having that downloading loading times, is slightly faster loading time.
Yeah, loading directly from the Switch itself does prove to be a little bit faster than the physical cartridge. So Zinpars does have a little bit of advantage when it comes to that. That being said, the rules of this tournament state that if you are playing 1.2, or I suppose if maybe Zinpars is still playing on 1.1, we can't be sure, that if you are playing on the digital version, that TiloTech is indeed allowed to still go for things like Sphinx Clip and Turnip Clip to compensate for the load times. So you will probably still see a Sphinx and a Turnip Clip from TiloTech, and we will be able to tell from Zinpars what version he's playing by whether he executes those tricks himself.
Right, Zinpars and TiloTech setting up for the Dram strat. Zinpars getting a good hat throw. TiloTech having to do a bit of camera turns in order to properly get his hat in the right spot. Both of them able to pull it off and going right towards this tilted tower thing.
Good execution by both, keeping it real tight, not noticing any huge mistakes in Sand Kingdom here. Zinpars still holding on to just a tiny bit of a lead.
Yeah, both are still on the same route. Not seeing any divergence of if they are going to do any sort of clips. As I say, that Zinpars is rolling right towards the Sphinx and answering questions. And TiloTech is setting up for the Sphinx clip.
So that does signal to me that Zinpars is in fact playing on 1.2. He is kind of an advocate for those clips, and I know that in the past he has indeed gone for them. So it does look like he did upgrade.
Okay, and he's going for a single clip there for Sphinx. It's probably smart given how many attempts that ended up taking. And Zinpars doing what is known as being one of the slower strategies, slower routes in Sand Kingdom. If you're not doing Sphinx Flip, you usually opt to not go to that area that Zinpars is just in at all, and go to other moon.
Yeah, potentially just doing that out of safety. There are lots of coins available in that room, and if you do not know where you can find some extra coins, it can be kind of rough going as you enter the later part of the game. You do need to buy 2 shop moons along the way, requiring 200 coins total, so don't blame him for taking the safe route there. We have an almost perfect sync as we approach this Jaxi Ruins, hopping off the top of it, and then on our way to the last couple of moons in Sand Kingdom.
Right, those were two different ways of doing the Jaxi skip, and they both ended up working out. It's
You
just
can see
ultimately
Tylo's
what it worth is used to.
Yeah, you can see Tylo's is perhaps a little bit more optimal, as well as the way that he launched himself off of the Jaxi Ruins as well, getting a little bit of a lead here over Zinpars, but it does look like his bird cycle is a little bit less optimal, which might actually put them back. Of course, Commentator's Curse coming into play a little bit there. Zinpars spaghettiing the moon grabs a little bit, giving TiloTech the lead again by about 2 seconds.
Right, and good vaults going into getting the music notes.
Very stylish stuff from both of these guys.
And of course, both players rolling towards the Odyssey, as this is the faster of the two, if like comparing to the opening the map to warp straight to the Odyssey.
Yes, if you were
At
not
least
going for
from
the
that
Notes Moon, yeah, if you were not going to for the Notes Moon, you were going for maybe the Crate Moon in the ruins or something like that, you would probably just warp away because the Odyssey's kind of far, but that puts it just in range where you can save time by rolling directly there. So both of these guys doing that. TiloTech coming out with a little bit of a lead here.
Yeah, it was still very, very close. This is nothing to look over. Like, we are in the territories of leads can change at any second as we head into Lake Kingdom, where who knows, maybe we'll see a lake clip, maybe
Yeah,
we
Zinpars.
probably won't, but
Zinpars a rather
we
big
can always
advocate. So we might actually see something like that from Zinpars. Has been shown to do it in his bingo matches in the past. So might not stop him from trying here. We will have to see.
both players setting up for the vault to get the fastest setup over this wall, and TiloTech the first one to capture the zipper.
Unzipping that chasm, rolling down. Zinpars taking a fall here. Oh my goodness, and a bonk.
That was completely unintentional. Now
What
you
a
don't
terrible
have that
situation.
moon. Yeah, that is one moon that has been skipped, and a potential lake clip that is completely gone, unless, of course, he seems to be opting, as he gets another bonk, opting to do some flower strategies to get back up here. So that is a bit unfortunate. He is losing time, and it's almost at this point forced to do lake clip because of how much time they have just lost, but still chooses not to.
Yeah, going for the safety route here. Definitely going to be losing some time. You know, Lake Kingdom, very unassuming place. You know, a lot of runners just typically kind of view it as the easy kingdom that you can just kind of zip through. No big problems. No pun intended, by the way. But, you know, Zinpars does indeed have a little bit of trouble here and going to be setting himself back now.
TiloTech the first one to get into the Rango fight, doing it just standard. And Zinpars is getting the hidden moon on that pillar and going for the fish jump. Oh, the bonks are rampant for Zinpars right now.
Just not treating him well at all. Unfortunate Lake Kingdom for Zinpars. But now that he's with Rango, he can finish off those last hits and is on his way. TiloTech taking quite a substantial lead here, though.
Yes, fade to white at about 1350. And so that'll be a good marker to see what the gap actually is as TiloTech captures that Odyssey.
Yeah, 1350 and 1412, looking like a 22-second gap here. Of course, as we approach Wooded Kingdom, just about anything can go wrong here. I very frequently lose a lot of time in this kingdom, so the tides of this race can change on a dime as we approach Wooded Kingdom. Lots of scary tricks, lots of potential to lose some big time here. Hopefully we don't see anything too drastic for either runner.
Absolutely. Nut clip can definitely be something that is not guaranteed, despite it being such like a strategy that we have had for a long time. One of the longer times for a glitch that we've had so far, it is still something that is not 100% success rate. You definitely have to make sure that you do this correctly, otherwise you can lose significant amount of time.
It's very true. And now there is a backup to the nut clip, that being another clip you can execute called the rock clip, but very erratic clip. Nobody really understands exactly how it works, as far as I know, probably because the nut clip is a lot more consistent in general and a lot faster. So hopefully neither of these guys having to resort to that. TiloTech going to be the first approaching this nut clip, coming up the waterfall here, jumping up through the tunnel, going to be setting himself up. And that setup looks pretty good.
Yeah, you can always tell by the right foot inside of the wall.
Yeah, and you usually do see a little bit of a warp happen to Mario after the cap throw. He'll usually kind of warp upwards and into the wall. TiloTech, very interesting out of bounds movement there, but makes it work for him, I guess.
Yeah, it looked kind of safer in some ways, as I think like the top of that wall is a bit lower than the hill, I would think, so you don't have to get quite as high in order to do it.
It does make sense.
Zinpars ends up messing up the nut clip and is forced to take the gate.
Yep, and by capturing this, he's opting not to go for the rock clip at all. He's just going to opt for the older route, which revolves around getting this moon and then going down into this flooded pipeway area below. So this route, losing him an immediate 20 seconds over a optimal nut clip route. So if TiloTech is able to pull off his movement, which he's showcasing rather flawlessly here, getting the spin pound out of the red maze.
Good buffer jump.
Yeah, if he's going to be able to pull off all of this movement cleanly, then we're going to see Zinpars kind of fall behind even further.
It's very important for Zinpars to be getting a quick sewer, and just as I say that, Zinpars ends up messing it up and has to wait out the cycles.
Yeah, it's a tough room to do. We'll probably see TiloTech do this as well. Very common for top-level runners to be doing a spiritless variation. Zinpars not having that option because it is a nut clip exclusive route.
Right, and that's actually where I'm seeing if TiloTech actually ends up doing that. He could do the option of just going to Speward anyway, because that is still a route, and a viable one at that. It's just not as common at the higher levels.
Yeah, I would argue that it's a more consistent route, but it does lose about 3 to 5 seconds optimally to the other way, so something that you probably have to have practiced to kind of put in your back pocket. Zinpar's getting a battered around by Wooded Kingdom here.
Yeah, getting hit by the PD Piranha plant. And now falling down, not able to get the proper triple jump off of the higher platforms, and then not getting the moon. What is this moon right now?
Oh my goodness.
Zinpars bonking on the wall. I should just stop watching. Let's go back over to TiloTech as he's rolling out of the tower. And there we go, no longer watching, and that's when he gets the moon. See, I know what I'm talking about. This may be pre-recorded, but Commentators Curse still exists, and I have to look away.
Certainly. Zinpars is obviously feeling the pressure of having so many eyes on him, even in the past, so messing up a little bit of that movement there, unfortunately. But finally makes it around the corner into the Story Moon. TiloTech does appear to be going for the Spiritless variation. Solid choice, makes the movement look really clean. Might not be saving that full 5 seconds, but is going to be saving some time over the Speward route.
Yeah, it was a very good option. Is using a variation on probably one of my favorite ways of getting back to the mainland, of jumping off of Takatsu, but this time decided to jump off of an NPC watering plant, which is not quite as entertaining, but still definitely appreciated because it's fun to abuse NPCs like that.
Yeah, Mario goes around the kingdoms bullying everybody, which is, just classic. We see a lot of that in Metro Kingdom as well, which will be upcoming.
So TiloTech, first one to hit the Odyssey. I don't really know if I should calculate another distance, considering how large it is. And as I say that, I subconsciously know the seconds, but I won't say it out loud.
Suppose we can figure that out when we get there. Zinpars, of course, missing the nut clip means he does have to fight Spewart, unfortunately, taking that time loss.
Yeah, it's dealing with the Spearward fight as TiloTech is going into Cloud Kingdom. Going to be facing Bowser, and yet again, tricks here, messing them up can cause some problems, but it doesn't cost too many seconds. As if you mess up, say, capturing a hat, usually what will end up happening is that you just get damaged, and then he'll throw out the hat, and then you'll do the older fast hat. The worst case scenario is Bowser takes the hat back, and you have to wait for him to go through the full animation of then throwing out the hats again.
Certainly the slowest way to go about this fight, because then you basically have to do it the casual way. No real way around that besides.
TiloTech able to get all 3 hat captures early, so is going to be fine coming out of Cloud Kingdom.
And as TiloTech leaves, Zinpars enters, so that does appear to be about a 1.5-minute difference between the two.
Yeah. It's a bit unfortunate. That is more than a Wiggler phase away from each other, so even getting a 3 cycle on TiloTech's side would not be enough right now. But we are heading into Lost Kingdom, being one of the kingdoms that is most known for giving mistakes that cause huge time loss.
And TiloTech trying to save himself there probably is what lost him even more time than necessary. When it comes to Lost Kingdom, if you're going to take a fall like this, it's probably just best to take the death and just go about your day. Because if you try and spend a lot of time fiddling around in the air, trying to save yourself, you're just wasting seconds. There's really not anything you can do to survive. So TiloTech, tried his best, wasted a little bit of extra time. Also messing up the butterfly here. This is the kind of stuff that is going to make Zinpars come back.
As Zinpars is in this fight onto the 3rd phase, gets the 3rd bounce or capture, no problem.
And yep, TiloTech better hope to play clean here, because any more mistakes will send him more or less back to the Odyssey, especially a death, I mean. So with Zinpars coming up to Lost Kingdom here, that could really close the gap if another mistake were to happen on TiloTech's part.
So Zinpars also entering Lost Kingdom. And just because Zinpars is behind does not mean that we can't worry about Zinpars as well. So there is possibilities for mess-ups, but we're still just going to watch TiloTech for a little bit as he does these things. It's not like I'm favoring a closer race or anything. I swear that's not what is happening right now.
Yeah. Commentator's curse might come into play. Who knows? We're pretty bad at that. It's our job to mess up the results a little bit, I think. I've come to just learn that.
Look at TiloTech doing this thing under the bridge. He's totally fine right now. He's not going to mess it up at all. Look, okay, damn it.
It was a solid effort. But TiloTech, no more mistakes in Lost Kingdom. Did opt for the stone cage hidden behind the pillar, so not taking the most optimal route through Lost Kingdom, but going the safe way. Probably a good idea considering how Lost was already going for him. And now on his way to Night Metro, but Zinpars making a clean work of Lost Kingdom himself. So we're going to see the gap close just a little bit here.
Yeah, it's good movement of getting the bomb to go off and then going down and diving into the little stump area. Let's see if he opts for the wooden cage or is going for a triple jump. It looks like he's going for, well, not wooden cage, stone cage, excuse me.
Yeah, opting for that safe route as well. Not saving any time over TiloTech, except for not having made any major mistakes.
Yeah, TiloTech now in the Metro Kingdom, and Zinpars is able to successfully get out from underneath the bridge, getting that deathless.
Very nice.
TiloTech doing some dangerous jumps across the way, trying not to die as he is getting that pillar sandwich moon. I think that is actually the right name for that too. So see, yeah, I do know moon names.
He does have the knowledge in his back pocket, believe it or not.
Okay, into Town Hall now. This is the part where we need to make sure that we stay on cycle.
Yep. Doesn't really matter how fast you do that first part of the room, just as long as you get the first cycle, you get on the elevator, and then it's a quick wall jump up these pillars, up the walls. Careful wall jump maneuvering here by TiloTech to grab this moon inside the chest, and now a very scary long jump across to the exit.
Very precise triple jump going on from Zinpars. He's getting it just barely on the corner of that girder, resulting in him getting a very good jump. And as I'm watching him now, he's bonking into the wall. Why do I do?
Avert your eyes. Avert your eyes. Zinpars plays better when he's not the focus. It's an unfortunate situation, but TiloTech, on the other hand, entering Wiggler fight and getting that first phase down with a little bit of difficulties. That's okay. Zinpars, you know, he's going to need every opportunity here to kind of catch up. So all these little things are going to start to add up. But he did kind of have a little bit of spaghetti climbing the buildings. So we're still quite a bit of a ways away from each other. I would say probably about a minute still. All right, TiloTech lining his way up for this second phase. Admittedly, a very rough part of this run. You can see why here.
Yeah, right. Misses a few shots, able to get it so that he is getting this 2-cycle. Zinpars getting this moon on top with the chest, able to just barely grab the ledge there to stay on top, to stay up here.
There was some crossover in TiloTech's pattern there, which can be really scary to deal with. We've already seen it a couple times in this tournament where 3 cycles happen as a result of bad hitboxes. TiloTech getting lucky though, missing that opportunity and getting the 2-cycle just fine. And as he leaves, Zinpars enters. So very, very clean first cycle by Zinpars there. And now Day Metro, not a place where lots of huge time losses can happen. I find this is a place where time just kind of bleeds. You know, you mess up a little bit of a thing, 1 second goes here, 2 seconds go there. And by the end of the kingdom, you're like, wow, okay, I guess I lost 20 seconds, but it was no real big mistake, you know what I'm saying? It's always just those little things that add up here.
Okay, and TiloTech's throwing off the Day Metro and is not going for scooter clip and just gonna capture to control the RC car. Why am I thinking at like 2 miles per hour right now?
Who knows? That RC car moving a little bit faster than 2 miles per hour though, able to control it rather well. Which is interesting. We have seen TiloTech actually go for the scooter clip in his previous tournament runs, potentially just looking to play this as safe as he possibly can.
Getting some bench friends as Zinpars has finished off the Mecha Wiggler. And we are at the point where this is yet again, this is also another spot where we can potentially lose time on other routes. Is if you are trying to do this, you got to make sure that you are being precise on your movement towards Pauline so that you can actually save time to the other route where you just warp to a checkpoint.
Indeed. Extremely likely that you can bonk inside that girder trying to make your way out of it. This trick, or I suppose this new route, does save 2 seconds, but of course the bonk would immediately kill that. So you got to have nice, clean movement coming out of there.
Zinpars starting out the day metro, going for scooter clip. Why am I watching him? Okay, TiloTech, going back over to the island.
Zinpars does nail the backup though, thankfully. Oh, but having a little bit of trouble. Okay, I can't even watch him apparently. This is awful. TiloTech talking to the bassist.
And that does not look like a good Cappy homing ability right there. It went downward. It is not going to be able to capture that little pole. Had to re-send out Cap.
Yeah, unfortunate situation. Our eyes are bad luck apparently for Zinpars here. Oh, yep, and of course I was just about to say Zinpars entering this girder, going to have to avoid taking the bonks, but actually does take one already on the way in. Thankfully cleared both of those boxes, making the exit a little bit easier. But you do see both of these guys going for this route instead. TiloTech, meanwhile, climbing up City Hall. See if he gets the spin pound. Oh, he does, but he actually doesn't execute the ground pound, unfortunately, so he's going to have to take the dive off instead. Very slick movement to grab the moon and initiate a spin pound right off of the top. Very fast, but hard to do.
Yes, got a bit scared. Got some cold feet when getting that spin pound. It's like, I don't know what to do at this point. I didn't think I'd get this far.
Yeah.
And then just completely messed up.
This is the first time this has worked. What? And now TiloTech entering the last room in Metro Kingdom, just finishing up the crowd room, hopping up above the crowd to get one fast moon, and then back to the Odyssey for him. He does have enough coins, so he will be on his way to Snow Kingdom next. And this is another kingdom where things can really change drastically depending on who does what and how well they do it. I'd also like to take a moment right now to remind you guys of our sponsor. If you guys are feeling lucky, you can place bets on your favorite runners in this tournament, as well as the other tournaments going on with GSA right now. And type !bet in the chat, or click the banner beneath the stream to visit vi.gg and learn more about that. As far as betting on this one, I don't know. It's a hard one to say. I think my money would be on TiloTech just based on the PB, but again, Zinpars does have a very creative way of looking at this game, so it'd be hard to kind of say who is going to come out on top here. Still anybody's game.
Right. Unfortunately, being someone who lives in the U.S., I am not allowed to participate in any of this stuff. But I assume there is probably the rule of you can't bet on a game once it has started. So
True.
Probably can't do that right now.
Yeah,
but definitely
on this one.
Saying if you consider yourself lucky, I don't. So considering what I've done to this race. So I'm okay with not being able to access it right now. However, I would use it otherwise.
I mean, maybe the pro strat is to bet on a runner and then like purposefully watch the other one, and so that they just continuously bonk into everything.
I'm supposed to be unbiased.
It's not your fault that looking at the stream makes things happen. Commentators' curse is a real deal.
Okay, TiloTech going into the town now for Snow Kingdom, as Zinpars is finishing out the metro and capturing that Odyssey.
And now we will see TiloTech here either opt to go inside the shop or above. Looks like he's going into the shop, so opting for the safer yet slower route here, not going for Snowdram by the looks of it. Smart move from TiloTech. He does appear to be playing this run rather safely.
And as you say, that bonks into the wall trying to exit the shop.
Yeah, luckily invisible walls that are in front of the camera like that don't have any collision detection, so no need to bonk on it, just kind of rolling into it strangely.
Yeah, I was gonna say that bonk didn't really have much of a bonk animation. It didn't really last as long as a typical bonk, but it looked like it would have been a bonk in any other situation. So I was like, what is happening?
Yeah. You see that,
Was
for
that
example...
an attempt at a setup at a moon clip just then?
I think maybe. Not very many people do go for that. It saves very minimal amounts of time. But, you know, we have seen some crazy things in this tournament already.
Okay, now in the Taifu room, a very notorious room in the Snow Kingdom, can cause a lot of deaths, especially in races.
Wow, so he did go for the triple jump setup there, but didn't actually end up getting it. But was able to get a double jump up there instead. I haven't really ever seen that. Usually that requires you to reset up. But TiloTech making his way through this room with some improvised movement, thinking on the fly.
Also, having to deal with the Taifu's blowing the Cappy away, so that it ends up being much further. So it takes much more time for the Cappy to be returned to you, so that you can actually throw it out again.
Yeah, that room in particular, the Taifu's, not your friends for sure. I've had a little bit of difficulty with those in the past as well. Blowing Cappy around, not making it very accessible. We see Zinpars here actually going for the shop first as well, so neither of these guys attempting Snowdram in this race. The smart, safe plays from both.
Zinpars getting some pretty good movement coming out of that chest into that little ground pound moon, and TiloTech getting the jump across. I wasn't really entirely sure of how safe of a jump across that was. I of course have seen multiple variations on like safe strats to not safe strats of getting across that gap, and I'm not sure which one that was because I wasn't really fully watching that side.
Yeah, usually does involve some sort of setup into a triple jump to get across the gap. The slowest variation probably being avoiding the triple jump altogether and just kind of running over and taking a long jump. Not something you see very often, especially at the high level, but of course that would be the safest opportunity. Not very hard to set up the triple jump though. TiloTech did in fact get that. So he's got the last moon he needs around the mountain inside here, and he is going back to the Odyssey, still with a really commanding lead. Not having to worry about Snowdram means he can leave immediately.
Right. Speaking of Snowdram, I'm actually not sure if Zinpars went to the store or not.
He has already been to the store.
Okay, so we're not seeing a Snowdram this week.
Yes, we can probably assume that to be true. He's got 2 moons to gather in this room here, and then into the Snowy Mountain area as well. And now Seaside. In the past, I did view Seaside as kind of like a peaceful break from the run. Not a whole lot you really need to do here, but with some more advanced tech coming into play, including the Rocket Flower refresh, this is still not a place where you want to kind of take too easy. Still want to be on your game, on your focus. Otherwise, some big time loss potential here, especially in the land portion, which is all of this beginning section.
Yes, in true router fashion, Mario any percent routers were like, this kingdom, we're too relaxed here. We need to find something. There's definitely something here that we don't see because we are sitting on our laurels, and there is obviously a faster strategy because we're so chill.
And then we found it in the Rocket Flower refresh. And the funny thing about this kingdom is that the routing that we see in Seaside is perhaps one of the oldest routes that exists still within the game. I think it was like maybe one of the very first iterations, and we just have not found anything to be faster than what we currently have. There are a lot of available moons in Seaside, but a lot of them are spread out amongst the kingdom. Some of them have really long cutscenes associated with them, including things like Captain Toad or any of the story moons. Now we see here this advanced tech coming into play. TiloTech actually missing the ground pound on the flower rocket refresh. So he's going to have to go back and set it up again. Having a little bit of spaghetti moment here, running the wrong direction. Is he setting it up again? He is. He does get it. He's going to be getting all of the notes. Now he has to do another rocket flower refresh to grab the moon. It does look like he's a little bit far away from the platform and taking a bonk. This is the kind of stuff that is going to allow Zinpars to catch up.
As Zinpars has now landed in the Seaside Kingdom, I have not really, I was not paying attention enough to Zinpars to actually get the exact time on the delay between on the gap between the two players, but it's definitely over a minute.
Yeah, Zinpars is in Seaside, but he does have quite a bit to do here. Of course, now that we're focusing on him, he is getting nervous and bonking into pipes, as we can expect from how this race has been going so far for us.
Exactly true. TiloTech now inside the little secret area to get those coins, and that... There's the fish bonk. See?
TiloTech.
Why are... Like, how is this happening?
This race is indeed pre-recorded, but somehow Commentators' curse seeping through the web of time and ruining everything. Okay, Zinpars approaching these notes here. Does look like he's setting up the rocket flower refresh as well. Gets the first one. Isn't planning to jump until after this little cutscene happens. But he is going to be setting it up better. Very nice.
I got so nervous. I was like, oh crap, he's talking about Zinpars.
Something's about to go wrong. I can feel it. Okay, so very clean rocket flower refresh strategy from Zinpars there. The only thing perhaps is missing that spin throw to get the cheap at the end, but not a big deal. Finally in the cheap part, and this part admittedly is rather safe, rather tranquil. Maybe the only thing that can really go wrong is a couple fish bonks here and there.
Okay, and yes, TiloTech is out of Seaside Kingdom.
Yep, Zinpars closing the gap a little bit there with a cleaner Seaside in general. Yep, Kitten agrees. Kitten is a big fan of both of these runners. She's been betting on this race for a long time now, actually. She was kind of hoping this matchup would happen.
Oh wow, Zinpars having some weird controls going on with that fish at that moment. And going around the moon, I think like 3 or 4 times before actually getting it. And TiloTech getting the good salt turtle jump.
Hey, you just want to have a little dance with the moon for a while, you know.
TiloTech now entering the second Speedrun fight, where we're in a rectangle. But we're not going to be too worried.
And that
rectangle's drastically scarier than circles.
Yeah, drastically increases the difficulty level of this fight. As you can see, TiloTech having a lot of trouble here. Spewer just battering him around. He is low on health. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I couldn't really do anything to change the tides of battle. TiloTech coming out clean there. Unfortunately, for Zinpars anyway, Zinpars still has a lot of work ahead of him.
Damn, Bowser thought he found his Mario's one true fear, corners. But
corners, yeah.
Didn't work.
Rectangles are quite a bit edgier than circles are, I would suppose. But not going to be making a difference in this fight here. Zinpars going for the salt pile triple, and of course, now that I'm paying attention, does not get the proper cap throw. Going to have to back this up. Losing a couple of precious seconds to the lead TiloTech is now building.
Seriously, loves dancing with the moons. And TiloTech now is just gonna go over and capture that fork.
And this set of movement here that TiloTech is executing, basically everything from the Speedrun fight up until you do the turnip clip, is probably the most technical, one of the most technical elements of this entire run, in my opinion. A lot of time can be lost here, and if you're not doing it optimally, you might not even really recognize why that is.
Okay, getting that golden turnip to get the moon, and gets that bonk, the intentional bonk, so that we are lowest to the ground when getting that moon.
Yeah, I mean, probably not saving huge amounts of time by doing something like this, but it is just a little bit of a fun thing to kind of throw in, and it is technically optimal as well.
I'm sure all the people calculating the gap between the two players took that into took that as a factor. Oh, that guy, he did the intentional bonk. I gotta add 0.2 seconds to the gap until Zinpars does his intentional bonk.
Yeah. All right, TiloTech approaching the scary forks room. I am like probably one of my favorite parts of the entire run is this entire room, this entire section. The movement is very stylish, lots of motion controls involved, which is not perhaps the best, but TiloTech coming out clean. And now, like we mentioned before, Zinpars is running on 1.2, but he is running on digital as well. So TiloTech will be allowed to execute the turnip clip here. So as you see, he's pulling a turnip out of the ground, grabbing the golden one for good luck.
Yes, TiloTech, a man of the people.
Of course. And now that turnip clip setup doesn't look incredibly good. He's going to have to clear...
Yeah, it's kind of far.
And then reset this position. Spiny might be giving him a little bit of trouble here.
Zinpars, what? Okay. Throwing the turnip into the lava.
Oof.
And now the basketball gods are not with Zinpars today.
Yep, LeBron James is ashamed of this performance.
Still gets the intentional bonk though, so we're fine.
Yeah, did save that 0.2 seconds. Add that to the comparison. And TiloTech's turnip clip, perhaps not the most optimal. So if Zinpars has a good cheese RNG situation, then he could be keeping on pace with TiloTech throughout that story moon section. TiloTech. Oh man, that jump is so scary. You know, I've had it happen to me a couple times already where, you know, missing that dive, that last dive onto that tiny little portion of the rock wall causes a bonk and a falling down into the lava. There is a backup, but if you don't know about it or you're not very good at executing it, it can lose you very huge amounts of time. TiloTech not having that problem though, on his way to the story moon here and into Ruin Kingdom finally.
Zinpars getting that end of the forks room pretty good, and I did not trigger that one. I started commentating after he rolled into the lava. Thank you.
Yep. Can't blame us for that one, please. Luckily, he is going to appear right outside that door again, so not the hugest time loss, but still something you don't really like to see.
Yeah, at this point, I would expect that Zinpars was probably very tilted at this point, so I do not believe that Zinpars is messing up as much, but it always is a good idea during all runs to just take a quick breather during cutscenes. Just make sure that you can calm yourself down so that you aren't tilted and that you can concentrate as best as you can. But it seems that Zinpars is really just not getting a good luck of the draw as he dives into a Spiny, and there is no way for him to know that was going to happen as it was completely off camera.
It's a really tough thing, you know. This speedrunning game, this life that we've chosen, I suppose, definitely a game of mental concentration. Very easy to kind of lose your cool when things start going wrong. So hopefully Zinpars is able to keep it together here as he approaches the final leg of this run.
Zinpars in Ruined Kingdom now. Nothing really can go wrong here, as you were just kind of watching a slideshow. And Zinpars hitting some more lava. Because, you know, he just, you know, wants to turn that cold feet into some hot feet, so.
Exactly. Hopefully warming himself up for the remainder of this run. Of course, now that we are paying attention to him, things going wrong.
Good save.
But does make the save, does get the backup there cleanly. The rest of the mountain not treating him so hot, but that's fine. He is up, and he is on his way. Now, you did say Ruined is an easy kind of side-scrolling kingdom, but this tournament has already shown us some interesting developments coming in Ruined Kingdom, including one race that did change the pace entirely in the loser's favor, I suppose, and changed the tides of the battle.
Right, and as I was saying before with routers, finding, hey, look, this kingdom, we're kind of relaxed here. We need to find something for this kingdom. Routers, please find something for this kingdom so that we don't have to do this fight anymore.
Yeah, find a way to skip it, and that would be great.
And the Lord of Lightning is down for the count.
TiloTech taking care of the fight handily. Nothing really going wrong on his end. Going to be grabbing that multi-moon on his way to Bowser's as Zinpars approaches this fight himself. And now we do have quite a bit of a gap between these guys, but it is far from over. As we approach the end of the game, there's a lot of opportunity for big time losses. Bowser's, of course, being suspended over a giant death plane, falling off the kingdom at any point, will lose you significant chunks of time. Moon Kingdom kind of in the same vein as well. So any big mistakes can really turn things around here. It's not over until it's over.
And as we are in a good amount of cutscenes right now, as Zinpars is just starting up the dragon and TiloTech is in the cutscenes going into Bowser's Kingdom, it's good to definitely assess where how far we've come in this run right now and see really what it will take for Zinpars to get back.
Yeah, I agree. So, you know, Zinpars not having the greatest of runs, lots of unfortunate circumstances and big mistakes happening. Trying his best not to get tilted, but I imagine that can be a really tough thing, especially when the stakes are high like this. So TiloTech, for Zinpars to come back, Zinpars has got to kind of clean up the game and really make this Bowser's Kingdom work out in his favor. TiloTech might have to take a couple of falls in order to kind of tighten this gap for Zinpars. But, you know, as we approach the end of the game, it does appear to be getting a little bit harder to do.
Alright, Zinpars getting that second hit on that Lord of Lightning Dragon thing. Thing being the least used term probably for this dragon. As TiloTech has gotten the first story moon? Question mark? Yeah, I think that's the first one.
Yes, knocking out the ogre, taking care of that first story moon. Now on to the second, which is the shards portion.
And shards moon definitely being a scary one. A lot of movement, being very precise, and you want to make sure that you do not get into that little area with the spinies and are able to get on top of this roof as you are now bonking the top of the ceiling where the shingles come out, and it is not able to get on there. Had to do a bit of recovery, and it's showing how bad the shardsman can be sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely very fickle, hard to deal with, and basically all of the movement kind of flows into itself. So if you mess up one part of it, it really does ruin the flow of the entire thing. But TiloTech did recover quite nicely. Gonna be grabbing the second story moon here.
And Zinpars is now out of Ruined Kingdom. Gonna be getting that Odyssey, repairing it, and moving on to Bowser's. TiloTech potentially now setting up for another Dram Strat is going forward, so yeah, that is looking to be the case. Will this be enough? Will this potential... That does look pretty good. Will the Cappy home work? It does. Well done for Tilo. Getting that.
Very nice display of technicality there. Very tight dive, which is what makes that trick particularly tricky.
And now setting up for some Harriet manipulation with these camera angles.
Not opting for the first person strategy here, which is fine. Messing it up can lose you quite a bit more time. So just playing it safe. Meanwhile, Zinpars, it appears that he went for the Pokio Dram strat at the beginning of Bowser's Kingdom here, using the Pokios at the beginning to get a moon hidden behind the wall and then warp directly back up to the top. So that signals to me that he will not be going for the Crate Moon later on. You'll see TiloTech approach that Crate Moon rather shortly here. Just got to finish up this topper fight, looking rather clean, gets the final hit, and he's on his way to the final portion of Bowser's Kingdom. One more moon to collect along the way, and then off to the Robo Brutal fight.
Zinpars starting up the moon shards as TiloTech is finishing out those bunnies. And Zinpar's not feeling too great. Oh, I'm wrong. I forgot about how you actually are doing a homing Cappy throw to get that second shard. I thought he was like turning around and like, I did not like that dive, but no, that was just him trying to do a homing throw.
Yeah, Zinpars has a very stylish strategy to get that shard, using the Procons to his advantage. Does do a down throw kind of along the outside wall and then roll forward into the next shard, and then Cappy kind of passes by the shard on his way. So did set that up successfully the second time there.
Yes, I believe Zinpars is definitely one of the huge Joy-Con advocates, as he is someone who's found quite a bit of triple bingo strategies that are only viable with the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, really kind of showing how well of a creative player he is.
Good setup for the Dram Strat for Zinpars. Took a little bit to actually get it in the right spot, but is good enough. Gets it eventually and is able to successfully homing Cappy over to that pylon.
And on his way to the Brutals, also selecting Harriet first. Very stylish choice.
You know I'm against it, but I'm saying it's overplayed at this point for me to just talk about it, so I'm just gonna like lightly acknowledge it and move on. And we are going into TiloTech with his mech fight.
Yep, and not going for Harriet third again. TiloTech really showing that he is opting for the safer route and strategies for a lot of these things, really kind of paying off as well. Keeping that lead has come down to choosing perhaps the safer thing, but also, you know, playing it consistently, so not losing himself any time.
On topper now, fighting it out, getting onto the third phase of it. And look, took damage. Wow, it's almost as if that checkpoint flag would be really nice here.
Yeah, I think it might still be available, but it is kind of out of the way, considering Topper was done second. So we might see Zinpars go for it. It might just take the time loss. It does look like that's going to be the case. And now, as he collects this Story Moon, TiloTech on his way out of Bowser's Kingdom. A pretty commanding lead here. We're looking at about 3.5 minutes. So it's really going to come down to this Moon Kingdom for TiloTech. If he's able to continue his consistency, play it safe, he will be walking away with the victory here.
And as I said, either way, for me, it's losing someone in this tournament that I actually do like very much. Both of them, I don't really. This is a true unbiased opinion, as I can't really choose which one I would actually want to win out of this scenario.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the way it works, somebody's got to go. Still too early to say who that's going to be, of course. We do have at least 5 more minutes of race to complete here.
Yeah, TiloTech could mess up 2D skip twice, and then
Yep.
we'll be good.
You just never know. And Moon Kingdom, you know, it's not necessarily the hardest kingdom to execute, but that being said, if TiloTech were to fail the Moon Cave skip, for example, and takes a death off the side, he would have to go all the way back to the Odyssey, losing a lot of time. If he were to die, for example, in the final phase of the Bowser fight, he would have to do the entire fight again, losing significant amounts of time. If he were to die in the Pillar Room, he would have to do the entire escape again, losing significant amounts of time. So it's not that Moon Kingdom is incredibly difficult, more so that it is very punishing for any mistakes you might make.
Right, Zinpars now finishing out the mech. I say finishing out as he just gets the second hit out of 4, so it doesn't seem like he's finishing out, but we have made this mech fight so fast that it basically is. As soon as you start it, you're already very close to finishing it.
Yeah, you do get that kind of satisfaction, that quick break in between the two brutals. But aside from that, more or less just a quick kill for a lot of these top runners, not really having many difficulties nowadays. Zinpars, of course, making it look easy, getting that last hit in, and he's on his way to Moon Kingdom now. TiloTech executing the Moon Cave skip with ease, now taking on Bowser here.
Yeah, Zinpars also opting to do a Harriet last strategy, which makes sense at this point in the run, considering how many mess-ups he has ended up having. I would think that Zinpars realizes how far behind he is and just doesn't want to take any more risks.
Probably for the better.
Knows that at this point, if he is going to win this tournament, if he's going to win this race, it is going to be based off of TiloTech messing up and not on Zinpars doing crazy strategies that actually end up saving time.
Yeah, essentially there's no real optimizing that Zinpars can do to save the victory. It does come down to TiloTech. It is his race to lose at this point. And he is approaching the final phase of this Bowser fight. Just like the Cloud fight, looking to get right up in Bowser's business, get these hats, take the optimal damage here in order to set up the capture, and then beat Bowser away. And with that, he's onto the escape sequence. So we've approached the final legs. Approximately 2 minutes left in TiloTech's run if he's able to optimize this. And, you know, hopefully we don't see any mistakes here. 2D skip still a very possible place where this could go wrong. We already have seen it in this tournament several times. It is a trick that almost everybody goes for now, but that being said, it can still cause problems. TiloTech busting open this bridge, and he's going to be attempting the skip now. Zinpars with some excellent vectors here, getting a little bit off center, but able to make it across the gap just fine. TiloTech actually busting open the block required for 2D skip, so he's going to actually have to go the other way here. Losing a couple of seconds, but still not entirely unoptimal. Didn't die. Probably the safer way of going about this anyways. he's
now
made it through.
yeah, it's now entering the pillar room as Zinpars is doing a bit of mooncave skip, getting it successful.
That dive was a little bit scary. The camera angle not really in his favor, but does make it up just fine. Into the cathedral. But TiloTech in the pillar room now. Might be a little bit too late for Zinpars. TiloTech, not sure if he got that first pillar, wasn't able to see. No, it doesn't look like he got all the fireballs, so he's going to be losing a little bit of seconds here. Going to have to knock out that final pillar.
Misses that fireball, and now has a bit of a slower pillar. Yeah, now missed I actually think 3 fireballs total, given the meteors that fell down. Actually, I think he hit one of them during that moment, so a bit of a slower last pillar, but
yeah,
still
kind of barred his way.
Out the victory.
Finally busting open the platform, getting the pylon, and he is going to be shooting out here.
That was a bit of an early split, I think.
Yeah, gonna guess that's a 105-17 by the looks of it. GG's to TiloTech, gonna be taking the victory here.
And Zinpars just styling on Bowser at this point. Look at all those ducks. Look at all those spinning around in midair, just having fun, knowing that it's not very likely that he's coming out with a victory. So he's just kind of like, I'm gonna have fun with it.
Yeah, whether he knows the pace that he's on versus his opponent or not, you know, he probably isn't going to be feeling incredibly happy with the performance in this race. Unfortunately, taking a lot of big mistakes along the way. And, you know, you hate to see one of these guys go, but Zinpars did put up a good fight in this tournament. And I'm sure that as far as GSA is concerned, this is not the last we will see of Zinpars. He, of course, is the Bingo champion. He is the first place runner in the Bingo tournament that we had recently. Very solid runner in his own right. Just not being able to pull through on the any percent this time.
Okay. Zinpars now approaching the 2D skip. Now that we have really no choice but to put full concentration on Zinpars. I don't expect a Commentator's curse to occur, but we are in that 2D skip, and yes, we are just fine.
Gets it rather handily, in fact. I think the curse is finally free of us. We can look at Zinpars without cursing him, hopefully.
There's freedom. I have freedom. I can look wherever I choose. However,
I feel so
freedom.
alive.
This is kind of like a monkey's paw sort of situation where I was given the freedom to look at whatever screen I want, but I only have one choice.
Yeah. I mean, look at those credits, though. Am I right?
Yeah, they're pretty nice. And Zinpars missing a few fireballs on that first pillar. Gonna have to throw a few more.
Now, not entirely sure if he did get the first pillar. Did throw a couple of extra fireballs for safety.
He did get it. He kept throwing fireballs until he saw the vibration / heard the sound.
Gotcha.
I saw the vibration, so I actually was aware that it was falling.
Yeah, Zinpars getting a little bit debated by the falling meteors there, but does manage to get the final pillar down. Just got to take his swipes away at this block, and with that, Zinpars is completing his run. Looks like he's going to be coming out at a 1:08:35. Not a bad showing for Zinpars here. 1:08:36.
You commentator cursed the split time.
Oh my goodness. You know, all good stories have to come full circle, I suppose. And that has been the story of this one. This run, of course, being a pre-recorded run, both of these runners from Europe did have this run down earlier on, and we are just doing a live results. This is the first time that anybody, including us, is watching this, so just bringing you the results live with commentary, of course. Troy, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And it's also been a pleasure to commentate with you. I'm actually going to open up the brackets to see where TiloTech is going now.
Good
Who
idea.
is he going to be?
So TiloTech moving on. It does look like he will face the winner of Safaro versus G-Skate. That match coming up tomorrow, I believe, as well as a lot of Super Mario Odyssey content coming your way tomorrow. Lots of very exciting matches in the winners and the losers bracket. But in the meantime, just like to remind you guys of our sponsor, Vi.gg, where you can place bets on any of the races happening in these tournaments right now. Support your favorite runners. Type !bet in the chat or click on the banner below the stream. Of course, you must be legal gambling age and be in a country where gambling is legal to make that happen. Now, coming up next, we do have some Super Metroid coming your way. One of the losers bracket round 2 matches, followed by a Super Mario 64 70-star tournament, I believe, after that. So stay tuned with GSA. But for now, that is it from Super Mario Odyssey, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.